to pay. So overall, these are
6. He has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of predatory match as a result of
I've had friends that said that, you know what, when I got married, I didn't think that what
we don't just have strength, we have wisdom. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wisdom is Nigeria. It's all about me. It's all about
The question is, would you stop your seemingly comfortable 9-to-5 job for a job that is not? Well, that is what this show focuses on, where we talk to individuals who are doing tremendously great outside of 9-to-5 in pursuit of their passion. Today, we are at Fit Magodo, where we'll be speaking with Jane Amuta, who has left everything, so to say, in pursuit of her passion.
Post NYSC, I worked as a staff of Fidelity Bank, and after a while I had to quit paid employment because I needed to pursue something that gives me more joy. And it's only logical and natural for me to go into fitness because it's always been my passion, and I needed to earn a living doing exactly what I love. So my passion, fitness, became a business option for me. And that's why we have Fit Magodo. Fitness has always been a passion for me, and after paid employment, it's just logical and natural that I do something that gives me happiness, and I just wanted to earn a living doing exactly what I love. So that's why I turned my passion into a business. When I told most of my friends that I was going to quit banking and go into fitness as a business, a lot of people thought I was crazy because fitness is seen as something very macho, not really a typical business path for a lady. But one thing is, once you're passionate about something, it's like a force. So I knew where I was heading to, and I believed I was going to do something spectacular out of this. And so I didn't only come out, I took so many fitness courses and programs because I knew then and now that fitness is a very serious business and should not be undertaken by quacks. So knowing how complex the human body is, if you are going into business as a fitness, you must understand fully how it works so that people who are under your care in pursuit of fitness, they don't end up with injuries. And so that's why I can say I'm a certified fitness trainer, and I have a lot of knowledge concerning what I do and what I love. When when I was sure of the path to follow, which is fitness, I decided first I need to get a space and then set it up to international standard. And then I knew what I wanted, and it took me like 6 months to set up the place because I needed to get the right ambience for the gym. And then because Fit is not only a gym, we have the salons and we have the spa cuts. We are all about the total well-being. And my experience so far has been so good because the fitness industry is really, really growing in Nigeria and everywhere because people are beginning to marry the relationship between health and physical activity. So a lot of people want a qualitative life, and then people want to live longer. And then because a lot of people are here not only for the aesthetics, people are here for health reasons because you need to eat healthy and then you need to be physically active to stay in top shape. So my experience so far has been so good because people really want to embrace anything that keeps them here for much longer. And then as a fitness instructor, people see you as someone who is like a lifesaver because a lot of people are struggling with so many things, and then when they know that there is somebody who they can identify with who can help them out, and then they're good to go. And so far so good. I can say that this is the right path for me, and if I should take a second, if I should do this all over again, I will also choose fitness because I really, really love it, and I'm having so much fun because this is my life.
What I think about Jane, I believe she's a very strong lady, someone who likes to work out a lot, and her body speaks volume. I believe she's an inspiration to other lady out there who wants to achieve the same goal. My experience at the gym, it's been wonderful. They have a very friendly trainer here. My experience, I would say, me adding up, bulking up, because I could remember I started very, what was my kg then? I think it was about 65. But now I can see massive improvements. I can see muscles all over me. And I'm about 72, 73 kg now.
This person or that person, okay? They are like to set a goal. The goal has to be smart. Like you cannot just say, I want to be like this person or that person, okay? To actually achieve your dream body, you have to set a goal gradually, okay? So my experience here with clients, because most of them don't understand a lot about fitness, so I have to explain to them how goals are being set and achieved. And then, well, you know, most clients are not really used to exercise, so you have to be patient with them.
1, 2, forward, and press, back up. You have one more. 1, 2, 3, go. Down, go back. That's it, catch your breath.
Okay, putting them through from a very low level. Okay, you have to come down, like assuming you're starting together. Okay, so from there, they get to understand a lot of things. And then as being patient with the client is actually the key, because knowing this is my field and then it's not their own field, so patience is one key that is required. And then with that, I think we will both achieve a good goal.
Fitness is my passion, fitness is my life, and if I am to choose between fitness and being a banker, I would definitely go for fitness, because this is like doing what I love while making a living, and it's financially more rewarding. And so I can say that I took the best decision for me, because I feel more fulfilled, and this is my life. Will I take a 9 to 5 o'clock job? Hell no. Because this is my life, and this is where I come alive. My name is Jane Amuta. I'm a banker turned fitness trainer. This is not your regular 9 to 5. This is my life.
This is our life.
Well, still on the show, we continue to our next stop, Ogun State, to meet with yet another young man, Mayowa Awopeju, who left the four walls of a bank and HR consultancy to follow his passion, which is, your guess is as good as mine, shoe production.
My name is Mayowa Awopeju. I'm the creative director of MV Signature. MV Signature has two segments. So we have the shoe factory and we have the garment factory. So at the shoe factory, we do a lot of school sandals, security boots, and we do a lot of personal designs as well. So if you want to produce your design, we do that as well. Degree was in banking and finance. After my master's, I came back to Nigeria. You know, the hustle of getting a job, looking for a job, and I actually got a job as an HR manager in a company. And what struck me was, what I was earning as a salary was less than my monthly allowance when I was in school. It was about 40% less. And after that, that what struck me, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. And that was it for me. So entrepreneurship wasn't more like I was born with it. It was more like something that had to lead to that struck in me that, okay, you know what, I want something better. I want to do something better. So shoe business wasn't even in the picture at the time. When I left my job, everybody was surprised. You know, my parents were the believer, like, just, you know, manage. You know, you start from somewhere and you go into something. I was like, no, I can't do this anymore, you know. So I left my job without having a clue what I was going to do next. It was just a lot of prayers and praying, consultations and stuff, and say, what can I do? What next for me? Should I look for? I was looking for another job, but it was a difficult market. It was very challenging, and I remembered in uni when I was doing my master's. So shoe was always a therapy for me. When I was sad or I'm bored, I just go into a shop and get myself a shoe, and that's a kind of relief for me. Buying shoes, I don't necessarily wear them. I just like seeing them, buying them, but trust they're not expensive shoes, so I could afford a bit more. So it wasn't about the expense, but I just love the shoes, the designs. I just buy them and keep. Sometimes I wear it, sometimes I don't. And I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, oh, we can create brands like Aldo, Zara here, and so it took me 2013 to 2014 doing a lot of research, looking at a lot of manufacturers, looking at a lot of ways shoes can be made, how to build a shoe brand and everything. So it took me a year to draw up a business plan, to draw up a realistic business plan. So it's not just about writing words on papers. It has to be realistic. It has to be fit within your environment. It has to work in the country you're in. So when I was starting my business, I didn't have one naira. I didn't have one naira in me. It was crazy, but I had the idea. I had the vision of what I wanted to do. So it was just about sourcing for funds, trying to source for funds and create my design. So I used to have this artistic friend. He knows how to draw very well. So I always go to him and say, look, I have this design, I have this imagination that, can you just help me sketch out my imagination, like what I'm thinking? Can you sketch it out for me? So we did a lot of sketches and everything. So that's how I built up my portfolio of designs. So what I now did next was to partner with a factory. We send them our designs. They interpret the design into shoes. Once I approved the design, so we now go ahead with the bulk order. So about then, I used to have like about 1,000 pieces of shoes in my room. I always have this shoe stack. My room was like the shoe stack, and I had a car then. So every morning I wake up, stock up my boots with 20 pairs of shoes, driving around Lagos looking for people to buy shoes. So that's what I did that for about 3 years, since 2014, not until I did that. I got a lot of money, funny enough, so growing the business. Within that 3 years, I think I had about 11 designs. So I've done like 11 orders, different orders. So if I'm to total up all my orders within those years, would have been up to about 5,000 orders. So I was able to push 5,000 shoes through. Well, we did a lot of this online stores, selling on online platforms, personal contacts, friends, family, driving around Lagos, approaching people to, we have the school shoes, durable shoes, do you want to buy? We struggled a bit. So now I had to go back to the books and say, okay, what have I done wrong? How can I recoup? How can I change? At that point, I knew that I can't work for anybody. Not like I can't work for anybody, but I already used to big money, so I was like, working for people is like starting from the scratch, and I didn't want to go through that stress anymore. So now I had to look for what can work. Actually, before then, we tried to diversify into tailoring. So what I do was, I approach friends and said, we make clothes and everything, take the measurement and I'll source it to this tailor that used to make my clothes and a clothes for my brothers and everything. I'll source it to him. I tell him, okay, do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. What I realized was there was a lot of disappointment. So that crashed the business entirely. So I could give him like 2 clothes, for example, to make in a week. There was a lot of disappointment. Maybe it doesn't even make the clothes in like a month, 2 months. So I lost a lot of customers with that. At that point, I'm like, this tailoring thing is not for me because I can't make clothes. So I actually abandoned that. This was when the dollar crisis was happening as well. So we went back into the books and said, oh, what can we do differently? I now figured that it's the right time to have a shoe factory. To see what we could do with having a shoe factory. So what I did was now start accumulating resources. Start doing a little bit of research about the shoe factory industry, how it runs, how it works, and everything. So with that, we started buying things, acquiring things with the help of family, friends. We now set up the shoe factory. This is where it all starts from, the designs. So this is where we get the patterns for any shoe we want to make. So this is the design department, whereby we design whichever shoe we want to make. The design is being made from shoe displays. So this is what we need to make designs, the shoe last. This is where the design is being formed of them. So these are part of the design and pattern making and everything.
In footwear, standard footwear company, it starts with designing. Designing, I used to tell people, simple illustration is just like a strong room to the bank. That's footwear designing for you because it is the genesis. This company has started on standard, and as a matter of fact, we are not going to relent.
When the designer finishes designing, he gives it to the cutter. When the cutter cuts the components, he brings it up here to join the components together. After the components have been joined together and he gives it like the shoe shape, it goes back downstairs to the last department. So they all work intertwined together like a circle. Garment factory, we make a lot of uniforms. So we're strictly producer of uniforms. So we do a lot of uniforms. We try to shy away from daily attires. So we focus more on uniforms. So with this, we do a lot of uniforms. Our capacity is about 1,000 uniforms a month. So we produce like 1,000 uniforms a month across 3 vendors. We get patterns, we job the patterns, we cut the materials, the fabrics, and we start joining. So it's a bit more the same. So when we finish joining the materials together to get the shirt and everything, so it goes to the button tacker, and it goes to the buttonholes machine. So that's what she's doing at the moment. And he's doing the cutting. So it's pretty much the same kind of technique involved. So that they are sewing leather, all this place was sewing fabrics. So that's like the major distinguished factor. So those are like the ready uniforms, ready to go. the number of time I spent with shoes, I see shoes in my dreams sometimes. Would I want to go back to a 9 to 5? I built an empire, and I can't abandon that because I've nurtured it from the very start. So it's something I hope to, to leave for my kids, something they can feed upon, building a legacy and say, oh, you know what, we did this, we did that, we did that. So with the shoe factory and the garment factory, and I think with a bit more hard work, we will get there to the point whereby we start exporting our products, whereby we have orders from all the way from all around Africa saying uniform supplies, shoe supplies, and we have to export it to all parts of Africa. So I don't think so right now that I have to go back to 9 to 5. I don't think I can do 9 to 5 anymore. I can remember sometime I had to come into the factory at 12 a.m. I had to do something. And I just I just drove out of the house and I came to the factory 12 a.m. to actually sort something they needed for the next morning, so it doesn't disturb the production. So for all the entrepreneurs, it's not about 9 to 5. It's actually 9 to 9. So we're working round the clock. So I don't think you want to leave 9 to 9 how much will you now make to 9 to 5 from 9 to 9? So no, I can't go back to 9 to 5. So this is not your regular 9 to 5. This is my way of life, the way I live.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Country people greeting on top this 0 o'clock when Senator join us for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This is not the time when someone given my name, I promise. Nero. Let's say the Supreme Court will put judgment for January 20 for the appeal when say challenge the last governorship election inside Kano State. One 7-man panel of the court, when say the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Ibrahim Muhammad, is sit down as Oga and Introduction after the lawyers for the matter, when they say one appeal and one cross appeal join, adopt their process them, and cooperate the courts to grant their prayers. The main appeal now from Abba Kabir Yusuf and in party, when we say the People's Democratic Party, PDP. While All Progressive Party, APC, filed one cross appeal, responded for the main appeal, now the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Meanwhile, the court don't redo their panel as they replace Justice John Okowo, when we say sick on Monday with Justice Amina Ugie. Justice Okona Bank of the Abuja Federal High Court on Monday overruled Abdul Rashid Maina plea to reject documented evidence when said the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, present against her. Justice Abang said the defender not in position to talk before the court when the kind of document when said they go use for the matter of the prosecution. He said that any document when said the prosecution will bring before the court to prove their matter, now they go bring as far as they follow for the law. I said that kind of document, now they go give us evidence. Because he say whether the court go consider the document, whether I follow the matter, and a different palaver. Academic Staff Union of Universities don't do work of Zonal Congress to yarn for waiting to come out from the last week meeting when they do with Oga President Muhammadu Buhari. For the Zonal Congress, the union will start the process to take the final decision for the integrated personal payroll information system after the meeting with Buhari, while some ASU zones meet on Monday. Others go meet on Tuesday for what they will see from the meeting with the President. ASU don't meet with Buhari on Thursday last week with a mind to make the federal government may they drop the IPPIS for public universities. But the union will be like waiting not go work as the President do his gift to the lecturers. May they join body with the IPPIS when say the federal government does say now for all their workers. Members of the Islamic movement for Nigeria on Monday talk matter of Oga President Muhammadu Buhari and the Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai as they take still hold their Oga when they say Bichaik Ibrahim Ezazaki and his wife Zinat. One Oga of the IMN, Yanusa Lawa, when we say the young for his annual press conference on Monday inside Kaduna say the day when we say every go set they come very soon. The Shai still shook mad for waiting the Attorney General of Kaduna State, Aisha Diko Iyan. Say she not get mind to withdraw the charges against Ezazaki when we say they stand trial for the State High Court. She said that the court go talk what if it happened to the Shite Oga. And Lawa says since the detention of Ezazaki, the government don't they talk plenty lie when we say still make them still lock the IMN Oga and a wife for there. He said the Kaduna State Governor they do waka to say they do wayo for the charges against the IMN Oga. One before Niger military ruler Ibrahim Babangida, he don't shook mouth for the new waka when they say that they set up the Southwest Regional Security Initiative and Motekun say no hold water for mouth. Babangida said Trowayan for the government claim when say that they say that they do better waka for the insurgency of the Northeast. Remember, I said the Southwest governor set up Amotekun to fight the security palaver for the region. Babangida heard the waka, but he say he not go stand say even though plenty Nigerian people don't say the waka not be better solution to the country's security challenge them. As it take care, the governors he said the governors run the expenses for this new security outfit for a long time. The Kaduna State government don't talk as they want to put body to take tackle the insecurity challenge, especially for the matter of kidnap. When we say food the states, the state governor Nasir El-Rufai Chowedisian for Kaduna when we say with the state capital. When we say take receipt people from the Fellowship of the Church of Christ inside Nigeria. Governor El-Rufai when we say in Deputy Hadiza Balarabe, he stand for a color the religious or garden for the state. May they join body with the government and may they pray for the peace and development of the state.
In Kaduna, we've had so many challenges, kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery, and all, and most recently the gas explosion that took lives. We're doing our best, but I know that the interventions of prayers that God in His mercies will give us, the grace and the wisdom to be able to do what is right in the state. We should pray for our leaders so that there might be peace in the land.
I call on the federal government and the state to make sure that justice is dispensed, that people are united, because we have very good brains in this country. We can use them. in the face of, security challenges, for only with that can we see what God has deposited in us.
The Nigerian Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, and the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, they join body the torchlight matter when we say concern Nigerian students, when we say that they other country them, when we say they don't complete their studies, and when they're ready to show back, come home for national service. The Oga Patapata of NIDCOM, he talk this one, when we say she go see the Oga Patapata of the National Youth Service Corps inside Abuja on Monday. The NIDCOM Oga say they need to tell Nigerian youth when we say that they other country them, what it they, and tell them why they need to show back home and contribute to the growth and develop of their country. Dabi Rerewa constantly say it need the establishment of one diaspora NYC desk office for stronger and better collabo between the two joint body. All right, the news will continue after the chicken break. We'll not go anywhere. They say people when they say that they use their eyes, they say they shoot one young person when they say they do will not go grey waka die for Guinea, and they say they arrest plenty others on Monday for the suburb of the capital, Conakry. As they do will not go grey against the president when they say he want another term for office. Guinean opposition party, them cause say may they do the waka for area when they say that they stay to stop gather body waka for inside the capital center after the government say they go shut down that kind of waka. Young will not go gree people born tire for plenty suburb as plenty people come off for street of the Conakry to stop any other gbege for inside the capital center. Plenty hundred of people they do will not go green. They born tire, come put a barricade around the headquarters of the National Front of the Defense of the Constitution. And these sporadic gunfires in the gun they shoot anyhow, say they hear them across the capital. And one high school student when they can shoot die, and they say the security forces now shoot and die. The demonstrators followed the announcement last week when the opposition group when they say they come up body from the legislative election for February and they go press them on top of the when they take delay if Oga President Alpha Conde no come up body for a bid for another term inside office. Waka to do ceasefire between the side to the Libyan brigade don't fail for Russia, as Moscow take confirm am. As the Oga of the rebel forces for Libya waka come up from the peace talks. Russia are talking that they try to stop the fight between the Libyan government and rebel military under the command of the General Khalifa Haftar. Libyan Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj and Haftar do yarns of about 8 hours of direct talk, when say Moscow and Ankara and Agriba put inside the Russian capital on Monday. On Tuesday, the Russian Foreign Ministry confirmed say even as they draft one agreement, after come out as no agree signed the deal. Foreign Ministry talk woman Maria Zakharova, a talk say after be done Monday evening, asked for until Tuesday morning to look for agreement. When Mr. Sarraj already signed, but he come up from the Russian capital as no agree signed the matter. Kenya President confirmed the acting finance minister for inside the job on Tuesday as he rearranged the cabinet and constitution of the government economic strategy for the next few months. Oga President Uhuru Kenyatta, he named Oko Yatani when he said on the act for the role since last July as the finance minister. He replaced Henry Rotich when he said the arrest because of say they suspect him for say they carry use money. Rotich don't say a lie. Kenyatta still dropped the Minister of Agriculture and Minister when he said they in charge of the East Africa community from the cabinet and they could bring new ministers for health and industrialization. Yatani served as ambassador to Austria and one regional governor before they put him as Labour Minister for 2018. He got a degree for economics and sociology. Since they put him to stand for the position, he don't win some hailings. As they take, they spend the government money wella. All right, the next one, now our foreign news. They say Oga President Hassan Rouhani on Tuesday talks say Iran will punish all those people who said that they caused the accidental shoot down of one Ukrainian passenger plane. He said they could touchlight the Palava Wella and Iran agrees say they used by mistake shoot the Ukrainian passenger jet down when say kill all the 176 people on board. The military say the jet go one sensitive site when say Iran Revolutionary Guards get, and they come mistake them for one cruise missile. Iran does say their hand not deal. The downing of Ukraine International Airlines flight PS752 on Wednesday come just hours after Iran do one missile strikes for 2 air bases when say U.S. forces they stay inside Iraq. Meanwhile, Iran judiciary say they don't do arrest for inside the Ukrainian plane when say crash, kill all the 176 people on board. The judiciary talk man, Gholam Hussein Ismaili, he talk on Tuesday say they don't do better torchlighting, enter the matter, and they don't arrest some people. Iran President Tuesday say made a set up one special court to probe the crash of the last week Ukrainian plane when say kill all the 176 passengers just after it take off from Tehran. Iran, when they say their hand and leg not they allegate, they say one missile and for the plane. And they don't after 3 days when say the palaver happened, when say the Wednesday with evidence say the Revolutionary Guard and then they do the shooting of the Ukrainian plane come down by mistake. Boris Johnson don't tell Trump make it cool down the gbege with Iran and make it come out hand from war when we say if it happen. The UK Prime Minister talk on Tuesday say war for the region is not good for the UK interest. For a year when we say be like say they laugh the President Ginger, Johnson still say may they replace the Iranian nuclear deal with one new deal when we say the President do. Johnson and his show face after the UK Defense Secretary say the country is not going to just back the US like that for future wars.
Obviously what we're saying to the Iranians, and I'm glad that they have accepted responsibility, and I'm glad that they've identified it as an appalling mistake, and it does appear that it was a mistake. It's very important that the bodies are repatriated and in a dignified way, and that the families are allowed to grieve and to have closure. Clearly, Iran, as President Rouhani has said, made a terrible mistake. It's good that they've apologized. The most important thing now is that tensions in the region calm down. And I was actually in Oman just at the weekend talking to people in the region, and they don't want a military conflict between the West and Iran. I don't want
sanctions the next step.
I don't want a military. And let me be very clear. I don't want a military conflict between us, between the United States and Iran. Let's dial this thing down. And you know, Iran, when you look at it, it's an amazing country. It's 80 million people. It's got a young population. They're literate. They should be orientated towards free markets, towards our way of doing things. And yet they're the captives. They're the prisoners of this approach, this government that they have. Well, we're not easily going to change the government, but we need to engage with the people of Iran.
All right, the next one, now our business news. On business, they say Oga President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday signed the 2020 Finance Bill enter law. The special advisor to Oga President for Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, confirmed this developed for 1 year inside Abuja. As the presidential Waka Waka person, Tekian, he said this one joined for the passage when the National Assembly do and the forward of the legislature to the Oga President for signing. When I go remember, said the president when say they present the 2020 appropriation bill, he give the National Assembly on top of the matter, the Finance Bill too. All right, still ahead of the Top Plus TV Africa News. Now we're round up for entertainment and sports with a show back.
Far away in a foreign land, they have embarked on a new adventure. What challenges will they confront?
I know it was a rehearsal, and then she was like, come, and I was like...
What pleasures will they experience?
Is to be the best in this competition because I really want to show the Africans how beautiful they are. Amazing!
A brand new life with all possibilities. Nigerians in China on StarTimes.nkoa.
On to entertainment, there's a model Gidi Hadid. He joined the 120 Ogbonge Juniors, who say they call on Monday for the Harvey Weinstein rape trial inside the Manhattan courtroom for jury selection. Hadid say sit down for the jury box. He say she don't meet the film producer. When say the judge say be James Borkin, ask her if she could talk truth for inside the matter. The mother talk say yes. Hadid joined the 35 Ogbonge Juniors. When say they tell say they file out one jury questionnaire and return them go to court on Thursday. Weinstein day on trial for say they say he raped one woman for 2013 and he sexually assault another woman for 2006. He don't plead say not guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 1 count of criminal sexual waka. Britain Queen Elizabeth II don't agree for one transition period as they touch slight details of plenty things when they go do on top their own role for inside the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. After one big meeting of senior royals for inside the Queen Sandringham Estate, north of London, the Queen talked for 1 year after the meeting said the family, for one, made the husband and wife work full-time for the royal family. They say they respect and understand Prince Harry and Meghan when they say now their wish to stay on their own for life. She also said the family don't do plenty talk for the future of her grandson and his family for the meeting, as they say they support Harry and Meghan Waka to create new life as young family. All right, down of entertainment, the next one, now for sport.
We're fresh into the new year, and The Advocate is marking its 1-year anniversary with a special edition.
I didn't know condoms were free. That's the thing. Condoms are free.
When you're talking about if a case of condom being free or not, I was just saying I have to phone a friend because I'm not really in that department.
We have a lot of capacity. You know, we're change makers. There's nothing we cannot turn around.
I've had friends that said, like, you know what? You know, when I got married, I didn't think that what I went through with my parents, you know, I didn't think those things were going to repeat itself. And then I entered my own marriage and I saw myself exhibiting something. I'm like, no, I need to take a break.
We cannot build a nation without the strength of the youth and the wisdom of the elders.
Nah. We don't just have strength, we have wisdom. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wisdom is Nigeria.
Chill. It's all this.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like an
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Apala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
Sleeping early.
On to sport, this is Slovenian world number 180, Dalila Jakubova. Bovic don't retire from one qualifying match because of bad weather condition inside Australia. They need to help the Slovenian come out from inside the court after they retire for 6-5, 5-6 against Swiss Stephanie Vogel for inside the first round inside Melbourne. The qualifying in waste time with 1 hour on Tuesday, and they suspend the practice small because of the air quality. Organizers say they expect to improve the condition and they go monitor them every time. And they expect Watford to complete the permanent signing of Ignacio Pusetto on Tuesday, with the Udinese winger when we say don't set to do one medical. The 24-year-old Argentine, when we say don't make 12 Serie A appearance this season, they're in line to be Watford the first signing of the January window. Watford don't win 30 points from their last 5 league games, and they climb come up from the bottom 3 with 1-3-0 inside Bournemouth on Sunday. All right, now for your go back break on top the 0 o'clock for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. For better and plenty information, follow us at Plus TV Africa for Facebook, for Twitter, and for Instagram. And it will make sense when I subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We go still the same and plenty other to read them as time they go. My name na Promise Nero, and I thank and I'll be so that you join us on a well done.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years. 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
Story. Once upon a time, there was a very young, agile, vivacious, spunky, unconventional Pekin. You have all come to know and love as Brother Derele, Shewere, and all of the above. But you see, getting to this very point in time has been a story of hurdles. I have crossed so many hurdles. I've broken down ceilings. I've crashed barriers. I've scaled mountains, figuratively speaking. Because you know what, for every single door that was shut on my face, you know what, I found another door. For every time I was put in a box, I jumped right out of that box. I am still in an industry where I have to constantly prove myself. Not the fact that I have to prove myself to myself, but I have to prove myself every time how resilient I can be and how much of an identity and strong force that I must be. So you know what, this is my celebrity story. My story is like $1 million question rolled into one.
My story for today, which hopefully will inspire you, is that when I was 17, my mom died. And at the time, my mom was the only one that had been encouraging me as far as acting was concerned. My dad was not for it at all. And on her deathbed, she told my father, let this girl do what she wants to do. Unfortunately, he was still against it. And I went to theatre school, much to his disdain. But the thing is, even though I went through a lot of stuff because he refused to like sponsor me because I was doing what he didn't want me to do, I endeavored, I worked, you know, I had many jobs. I used to do all kinds of stuff. I used to braid hair. You know, there's a lot of stuff I do people don't know about just to make ends meet. Some days it would be between transport and food and all kinds of things. But I endeavored, I worked hard, I stuck to what I wanted to do, and finally I am here. And as far as I'm concerned, I've only just begun. But I am here, and I'm going to keep on pushing on until that Oscar sits on top of my table. So, you know, no matter what it is that you want to do, so far it's a good thing. Don't let anyone discourage you. There will always be a way around it if you just put your head down and put in the work.
What's up, everybody? They call me Road Boy. Now, let me share a brief and a small story for you guys, okay? I used to be a young boy who never had this experience of having parents coming to pick you in school or taking you to school. You know, those kind of things that if you woke up in the morning as early as 6, you dress up everything by 6:30, it will take you like 1 hour, 20 minutes to get to my school. I never had that experience of waiting for a driver to come and pick me in school, you know, that kind of lifestyle whereby even your parents will prepare breakfast for you or lunch for you to take in school. It was all about survivors, okay? But today, I want to tell you guys something. Maybe my parents took it that way for me because they never had, but I promised myself when I was young, if I ever made money, my children are not going to go through that. I'll provide everything for my kids, transportation, security, whatever, okay? So let me tell you, so whatever you're going through in life today, make sure you keep your head up because whatever you're experiencing, it will give you that power, that strength, not to allow your kids to go through that. Road Boy says so. Bless her.
Before Jennifer's Diary, I would go for, to be honest, I did not think I was going to be an actor. I just thought I was going to sing. How I got into acting, one particular day, I went to church for rehearsals, choir rehearsal, and then I got there early. My friend called that she had written my name in some audition. I was like, audition, ads free, me? I know they do. So she was like, come through, they're waiting. So because rehearsals had not started and the place wasn't so far from where I was, so I was like, okay, I'll just go and see what's up. Thereafter, I started going for auditions. Some people will say really nasty stuff to you. Instead of them to just say, no, go. They will yab you. They will make you not believe in yourself. You just feel like giving up. So I just chilled. And then one particular time, I got a BC, 1,000 Days of Blackberry. My friend sent me an audition BC. It was for Jennifer's Diary. So I said, guy, I know they go. All these things, they don't already get people where they want to put there. So I'm not going to go. So I was like, go. My mom told me to go. My dad told me to go, the amazing man, and my friend. So I didn't even know what to wear. So I was discouraged, like, nah, I'm not going to go. But my friend, thankfully, she works for Genevieve at the time. By the way, I love. I cannot explain the love I have for Genevieve. The place was crowded and I don't like crowd. So I went to hide in the restroom as always. That's what I always do. So I was there till like 8 p.m. For real. I called my mom. Mom, I'm leaving. She said, no, too bad is audition. So I stayed there. 9 p.m. I auditioned. In my head, I was like, there's no way they won't have found people they need. A couple of weeks after, they called me for the second audition. We did the third audition. We did the final reading. We're quite a number of people reading for Toyosi. At the end of the day, as God would have it, I got the role for Jennifer's Diary to play Toyosi. I did not have any idea that the character was going to have so much continuity. I don't even know. I didn't know that I was going to be in several seasons. So, yeah, and that's how I found myself in Jennifer's Diary series.
Welcome to this episode of Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. Today's episode will be focusing on entertainment. So we start with Islewood. What is Islewood, you ask? Well, it's about the film industry telling the positive side of Somali refugees living in Kenya. It was started in 2001 by Iman Bohan. Interesting? See for yourself.
Could Iman Burhan be the Somali-Kenyan version of Steven Spielberg? Maybe, but the difference is that Iman's films are not purely commercial. The man has a mission, and it's called Islewood.
You can get here a refugee, someone who is actually fled from Somalia, fled from Al-Shabaab, who is here a refugee. But they are trying actually they are doing business, like hawkers, shoes shine, small business. Nobody is telling their stories. People are busy telling a story of criminals, gangs like Al-Shabaab. So we are trying in one way to tell our culture, our positive side.
Iman founded Islewood in 2001, 14 years after he came to Kenya. For young Somalis, his creative platform is the only way out of ethnic isolation.
Before I reach my home, I get the messages from young people. Hey Iman, I would like to be actor, I would like to be model, I would like to be singer, I would like to be dancer. Iman, help me out. So immediately I just said, I will help you out. As long as you are talented, as long as you are passionate for this, I'll make sure I help you. I just try to mentor them, to motivate them.
And motivation is urgently needed in the Somali community. After the terror attacks by Al-Shabaab on Nairobi's Westgate Mall, Iman and his colleague Adan Osman have seen discrimination on every level.
After Westgate, the discrimination was pretty bad. People, they don't think of us as good people. They just condemned us, It hurts, when you are like in a matatu and people start looking at you like, like a suspect. We don't deserve that. Al-Shabaab, they don't stand for all Somalis.
Eastleigh, or Little Mogadishu, is dominated by Somali businesses. A quarter of Nairobi's tax revenue is generated here, making it vital for Kenya's capital. And yet Somalis are culturally isolated.
Silence on set, silence on set.
Iman's project offers ethnic groups a chance to interact.
Islewood is playing a big role, a very big role, because it has reduced crime in a way, because most of the guys who are perpetrating heinous activities in the communities, most of them have joined and also showcased their talent.
Islewood's films are shown in tiny cinema halls in the neighborhood. The challenge, however, is that Iman and his team not only face discrimination from Kenyans, they also struggle with accusations from their own community.
So many people actually are trying to disseminate a lot of propagandas, telling us, you guys, you are changing our youth, you are targeting beautiful girls, you are promoting Western, values. They want us to stop what we are doing. But I'm saying, today, if I die, there are so many like Iman who will take from it. And we hope Islewood will work generations like Hollywood.
Iman's project is funded by local businesses, and it turns out to be a very successful one.
It is important we tell our stories. I like the fact that despite the accusation and discrimination, Iman is trudging on and even getting funding for his films. From making films, we go to watching films. In Cameroon, Christian Kwesi is determined to give the visually impaired a feel of watching films.
A fitness trainer comes to his home every morning because Christian Kwesi needs to exercise a lot. A side effect of the medication is that I gain weight really quickly. Christian lost his eyesight at the age of 20. He now wants to do something for blind people in Cameroon. He shows films with audio descriptions. The district authority is hosting the event at the community hall. This is the fourth screening the 28-year-old and his friends have organized. Cultural centers show movies, but they are only for people who can see. Nobody thinks of us. If people like us with disabilities don't help ourselves, nobody will. His former schoolmate Patrick relaxes after helping to set things up. We're all moved by how strong he is, by how he keeps forging ahead. It gives us a push. The first guest to arrive is an old acquaintance. He's come all the way from a town in western Cameroon. But disenchantment soon sets in. The district authority failed to send out invitations. No one else has showed up. We're going to watch the movie anyway, even if it's only for Luke. He has traveled so far to get here. At least the film suits the situation. The Untouchables is a French comedy about a man who can't move his body from the neck down, but wants to enjoy life regardless. Christian was Cameroon's youngest high school graduate. He used to dream of a career in business. Now I'm fighting to be as independent as possible. The two friends are not giving up. Somewhat frustrated, they set off to promote additional screenings. Then they make a brief stop to charge up his cell phone. I can't move around the city on my own. The city doesn't provide for that at all. Christian and Patrick have an appointment with the province's social affairs delegate. They hope to get better support from her for their next screenings. We had never heard of films for blind people. Christian is bringing along a real innovation. The politician wants to support him. Christian Kwesi hopes this will prove to be one more step toward making the city a more livable place for people with disabilities.
Christian Kwesi's story is one of the selfless individual who is looking beyond his disability to help others like him. Now from film, we go to music. One man thinks that bongo flavor in Tanzania can change the world.
Baraka da Prince is well known in his neighborhood in Dar es Salaam. He's a bongo flavor singer and songwriter. Everyone here knows his music and likes to sing along with him. Today Baraka is 22 years old. From his earliest childhood he dreamed of becoming a famous singer, but his father strongly opposed his musical ambitions. I remember one day I was performing somewhere at a festival and someone tipped off my dad. I was beaten a lot that day. But that didn't deter him. He moved to Dar es Salaam, about 1,000 kilometers away from his hometown Mwanza, and recorded this song, Siachani Nawe, meaning, I won't let go of you. When we released the song, we never thought that it could be this popular. We recorded it and made a video and left it out there. Fortunately, many Tanzanians liked the song and it became a big hit. The music video reached the top 10 and was broadcast on TV in Tanzania and across East Africa. But one song couldn't earn him a living. That's why artists like Baraka are over the moon when they're discovered by Joseph Kusaga. For almost 3 decades, he's been promoting young, talented musicians.
There are a lot of talents out there, but the money issue, as you said, is a challenge for them. Actually, getting studio time right now, I think per record is about 400,000, 300 or 400,000, which is not small money. It's big money.
300,000 Tanzanian shillings is about 150 euros. Joseph Kusaga is the manager of a popular radio station. By giving artists free airtime on his radio station and on television, Kusaga has made bongo flavor East Africa's most popular style of music.
Before, it was very difficult for people to support bongo music because I remember most of the people thought that bongo music was, rap was for hooligans. But now people are taking music as very serious.
Bongo flavor has now conquered the hearts of the population in Tanzania. My biggest dream is to make Tanzania known internationally through music. And Baraka da Prince is determined to do everything in his power to make that dream come true.
From Tanzania, we head to Cameroon, where Ruben Binam is helping music artists in Cameroon to not only find expression, but to make profits and put their sound on the global stage.
Ruben Binam's backyard is a meeting point for Yaoundé's vibrant music scene. Musicians practice here every day. The band Camille Savin has even performed their Afro jazz on European stages. Ruben wants to pave the way for the musicians with rehearsals, performances, and his record label Alizé Équateur Records. I'm convinced that entrepreneurship can solve musicians' problems. For a long time, Cameroonian artists have been waiting for solutions to come from other people. The biggest problem for Cameroonian musicians is piracy. Shops selling copyrighted music are few and far between. Ruben distributes his CDs through a chain of gas stations across the country. Cameroon's first paid internet streaming service has also just been launched. Digitization is a solution if we can offer the people what they want and do it on a legal basis. The biggest commercial success to date, Ex Malaya. Every Cameroonian knows this boy band. Ruben and the three boys are exploring new venues for their next video clip. I find this place quite risky, but it's very beautiful. A film crew from Nigeria is producing the video.
This location is amazing, and we get to see the whole city. And there are not many points that we can fly the drone very effectively here.
Video clips for the selfie generation. Today, Africa's music industry actually makes more money from ringtones than music albums. Ruben and his colleagues don't need a lot of space for their work. The small room on the ground floor of his house is his sales headquarters, programming room, and studio. I'm lucky to be someone who can organize things. That's why I always manage to do my own music in between. And there's nearly always time for a small jam session with Ruben's studio. If all goes well, this song too will end up on his online music platform.
The African music industry is taking on the world. Still in music, we head to Guinea, where a woman is using music for activism, getting women to talk about forbidden topics like female genital mutilation and sex.
Sayon Bamba and her cohorts are planning what they call a culture raid. Their target, Fode Bakera, is a former Ghanaian culture minister and music manager. The women want to direct his attention to their activities at the Solio Academy. Sayon Bamba wasn't exactly invited this day, but she arrived anyway. I have nothing other than my voice and my songs. That's a choice I made. I did my studies, but I was never able to work in my field. My aim is to speak on behalf of women whose voices are never heard. That's what inspired Sayon Bamba to launch her initiative to promote young female artists. She has no workspace for them yet, so everything's improvised. Bamba wants to help these women develop their potential and empower them to discuss issues usually considered taboo, such as sexuality and female genital cutting. There are things that are important to us and the younger generation, things we need to address here in Conakry. Let's talk about them. The sensitivity of our bodies is not something that was created by someone, it's something we're born with. Anyone who wants to cut a girl has to know there's a vital part of her body that's being taken away from her. Sayon Bamba also acts as a coach for young women. Her role resembles that of a big sister. 2 weeks ago, one of the women in her academy had a baby, but her partner left her, and now she's a single mother. Men just aren't there. That's what's so terrible. We need men to be more responsible. Women want men to take more responsibility and use condoms without our having to tell them to. As soon as a baby is on the way, they disappear. Sayon Bamba has plenty of experience on that front. She has 3 children and is raising them alone. But she still developed a career in the music business. That was only possible with talent, a good education, and support from others. Another goal of her academy is to support and encourage participants beyond music. You're still young. You're going to make it. Don't make the same mistakes we did. My baby's not going to stop me. When she cries, I'll take her with me. I'm going to stay in the academy with the other women. I haven't lost heart. Do what you really want and don't give up. That's Sayong Bamba's philosophy.
Across the continent, people are using ways like music to talk about serious and political issues. Well, a young female rapper, MC Law in Uganda, is rapping the news. Yes, you heard me right. Rapping the news. Now take a look.
I do a lot of stuff girls don't do. I climb trees, I can somersault, I can dance this break dance.
Uganda's youngest female rapper is 14 and goes by the name of MC Loy. She's become a star in her own country, regularly rapping the news on Uganda's NTV. The weekly voice recording in a production company is followed by a TV studio session. This modern news format is designed to reach young people who don't normally watch the news.
Despite concern that the bill might hurt the economy and send back tobacco farmers back to poverty. Making them to get to know what's happening in the country, abroad and so on. That really helps them to know what's going on in the world, because if you live in the world and you know nothing about what's happening, then you may find yourself in a bad thing or a problem or so on.
That often happens to people in her generation. Half the population is under 15. Facebook and WhatsApp predominate here. Young people would rather listen to music than to the news. So what better way is there to reach them than to bring them the message across with music? Zoe Kabuye, that's her real name, buys newspapers as often as she can. So what is it that really bothers her?
That's part of child abuse, not taking a child at school. I wouldn't blame parents who don't have money to take children at school, but I would only blame the government, which doesn't build the infrastructure for the kids and so on, schools, yeah.
Her desire to remove fear and instill courage motivates her to teach kids at Sunday school.
Verse 8 to 37. You will hold a son in your arms. Well, she has no son and her husband is old.
Education for all, no more corruption. She has even put her demands to the president, rapping them, of course.
Yes, I'm proud to be a Ugandan living in the beautiful motherland, the Pearl of Africa that grows every day and night with mega malls, roads, hospitals, education system, and so much more. But we need some more. And I want to be the first male president of my country, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. What? Yeah, that was it.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I made him know that I want to be. So he should just get prepared for MC Loy. We'll be in his seat someday.
According to the Constitution, she has to wait until she is 35 to run for presidency. That leaves her plenty of time.
And MC Loy wants to be president, so Uganda, get ready for a rapping president, y'all. The young men in our next story are using humor to shed light on their realities in Zimbabwe. They have over 6 million viewers.
This trio has become Zimbabwe's comedy sensation. With their political satire show Zambezi News, the comedians make a witty parody of state propaganda and burning issues in Zimbabwe. The team is constantly working on new material.
Well, right now, this particular sketch basically is about race relations. It's a big thing in Africa, but a lot in Zimbabwe as well, the interaction between black and white people. So this is basically a white man, a white reporter from Zambezi News, Jerome Weathers, who's proving that blacks and whites get along.
I've been your politically correct correspondent, Jerome. Rainbow is my color, Weathers.
Zambezi News is distributed on social media and DVDs. It has over 6 million viewers. While it's not broadcast on Zimbabwe state media, it has fans in other African countries because it sheds critical light on political realities. That's why state authorities perceive the show as an affront.
I think, I think that's always the joke in Zimbabwe, is that you've got freedom of expression, but you don't have freedom after expression. That's it's definitely the case with Zambezi News, is that it's very kind of outspoken political satire, and of course we deal with the powers that be.
Based in the capital, Harare, Zambezi News reports from a country in the grip of a repressive regime after almost 30 years. The three comedians use satire to prompt people to think about sensitive issues and disregard threats and intimidation. The guiding principle of Zambezi News is you can laugh away your fear, but you can't look away from it.
It's so late, madam, to say something like that. Welcome to what is this for again? The Shoko Festival. Okay. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who worked on this great festival that is benefiting the nation. It is good for tourism, and seeing flocks of artistic immigrants swarming from the imperialist nations and leaving their local currencies in our nation. And make sure that you have all the necessary clearance and documents, or we will come there and shut you down.
We always laugh at situations, We're just trying to get people to laugh more, so that you don't cry so much and you don't complain so much. It's happening, yes, life is tough right now, but don't let it bury you. So this is why we're looking at life from a different angle, from a funny sort of angle.
The Zambezi News team is going into its 4th season. The cast is still confronted by state security agents who claim the comedians are pursuing an anti-government agenda. Considering Zimbabwe's outlook, there seems to be a need for the kind of comedy that Zambezi News provides.
Like we say in local parlance right here, if I no laugh, I go cry. Sometimes humor is a good outlet. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. See you next week. Bye.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
We're fresh into the new year,
And The Advocate is marking its 1-year anniversary with a special edition.
I didn't know condoms were free. That's the thing. Condoms are free.
When you're talking about if a case of condom being free or not, I was just saying I have to phone a friend because I'm not really in that department.
We have a lot of capacity. You know, we're change makers. There's nothing we cannot turn around.
I've had friends that said that, you know what, when I got married, I didn't think that what I went through with my parents, I didn't think those things were going to repeat itself. And then I entered my own marriage and I saw myself exhibiting something. I'm like, no, I need to take a break.
We cannot build a nation without the strength of the youth and the wisdom of the elders.
Nah. We don't just have strength, we have wisdom. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wisdom is Nigeria.
No, chill. It's all this.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Osuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, by no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Arm Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines, and I am Amaka Okoye. The Supreme Court has scheduled judgment for January 20th in the appeal challenging the last governorship election in Kano State. A 7-man panel of the court led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Mohammed, made the decision after lawyers in the case comprising an appeal and a cross-appeal adopted their processes and prayed the court to grant their prayers. The main appeal was by Abba Kabir Yusuf and his party, the People's Democratic Party, while All Progressives Party filed a cross-appeal. Respondents in the main appeal are the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Meanwhile, the court has reconstituted its panel, replacing Justice John Okowo, who took ill on Monday, with Justice Amina Oge. Justice Okonabang of the Abuja Federal High Court on Monday overruled Abdul Rashid Smaina's plea to reject documented evidence presented against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Justice Abang said that the defendant was not in a position to determine before the court which document was relevant to the case of the prosecution. He said that any document the prosecution decided to bring before the court to prove their case, provided it was admissible to the law, such documents will be admitted in evidence. He, however, noted that whether the court will consider the documents relevant to a case before it was entirely a different issue. Away from that story, Academic Staff Union of Universities has convened zonal congresses to deliberate on the outcome of its last week's meeting with the President, Muhammadu Buhari. At the zonal congresses, the union would begin the process of taking the final decision on the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System following the meeting with Buhari, while some ASU zones met on Monday. Others would meet on Tuesday on the outcome of the meeting with the President. ASU had met with Buhari on Thursday last week with the intention of persuading the federal government to drop the IPPIS for public universities, but the union's efforts seemed to be unsuccessful as the President appealed to the lecturers to embrace the IPPIS, which the federal government made mandatory for all its workers. Now, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit asking the Federal High Court, Abuja, to order the 36 state governors in Nigeria to publish details and breakdown of payment of pensions to each of the former governors and other ex-officials, and the names and number of ex-governors and other officials receiving pensions under their respective state pension laws between 1999 and 2019. The suit followed SERAP's Freedom of Information request dated the 9th of December 2019 to the governors. Now, joining us in the studio, live in the studio, is the Executive Director, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Adetokunbo Mumuni. Good to have you, sir.
It's a pleasure being here.
Now, you have seen all of this that is happening with the SERAP. Now, our first question will be that they filed the lawsuit already asking the High Court to order 36 state governors in Nigeria to publish details and breakdown, as we read. Why the interest in these details will be our first question.
You see, we had filed a case earlier in which we sued the Attorney General of the Federation, in which a judgment was delivered by Justice Oguntoyibo of the Federal High Court of Lagos. In that judgment, the court said the Attorney General of the Federation should be the officer that should be concerned when there are various laws in the various states of Nigeria empowering governors to collect emoluments. Now, the court now directed that the Attorney General of the Federation should file a case to challenge the validity of those laws. Now, that case is to come up before Justice Oguntoyibo on the 3rd of February, because he said we should report compliance with our order. Now, we left that. We now said, okay, we want to know who of former governors, who of former deputy governors, who of ex-official of government in states have collected the money. We wrote to the state government. Only 2 governors responded to our request. And the response was not even complete.
Yeah, the Sifani and the Kwara State government.
Thank you. Now we have given them the sufficient number of days under the Freedom of Dominion Act to give us what we wanted, they have not given us. The law says you must file your case within 30 days after the refusal of the request. If they wrote to you to say we are refusing, that is definite refusal. If they deliberately ignore what you requested for, that is constructive refusal. So we believe that our requests have been constructively refused.
I'll ask you to hold your thoughts there. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment.
Thank you.
You're still watching Plus TV Africa, and with me here is Adetokunbo Mumuni, still having the conversation. So please do continue with your thoughts there.
Now, what we have done is to file a freedom of information request with all the governors to tell us how many former governors have received pension under their various laws, how many former governors have received pension under their various laws, how many ex-official members of government has received pension. Now we also want to know the amount of pensions that has so far been paid to them since 1999 till date. The amount paid to them, and those are the informations we requested, which you have refused to comply with. And the law regarding freedom of information access, you have to file your case after the expiration of 30 days from the date of your request. So we don't want to be caught by this principle of statute of limitation when we go after 1 month. That's why we are in court.
Now, these pensions, are they not their entitlement, so to speak?
No. It is their entitlement. But we say that in view of the unsustainability of those pensions that have been paid, we believe that it will be a danger to the economy of the various states to continue with that pension. Because we are still complaining about 30,000 naira as the salary for minimum paid workers. You are now committing millions of naira to serve certain individuals, people who aspire for public office themselves. No, it is not compulsory that you must be the governor of a state.
So do you feel this is not justified at all?
That is the point we are making. It is not enough. It is not to say you have been a governor of a state and that should entitle you to suspension. That is not possible. Because when you want to serve, you have to serve with humility and sincerity. And when people are now in government, they now use governmental powers to confer pecuniary advantage to themselves. We say that is not fair in a democracy and a country that is saying we are fighting corruption, a country that's talking about accountability and good governance.
I'm going to ask you two questions in one. The first one is, do you see a headway with this case that you're pursuing? And secondly, in recent times, we've really seen you, Sarah, being very active in filing cases against the federal government. What has been the outcome so far?
Do I see a headway in this case that I've filed? Because we have obtained a series of judgments against whoever we have filed a case against. I believe that it is for the judiciary to decide whether we have filed a case that makes sense. Now, the next thing is, why is SERAP in all this? The truth of the matter is that the establishment of SERAP is about accountability and good governance. It's about the promotion of the socio-economic rights of Nigerians. We say that this case that we have filed is an attempt to bring to the fore how Nigerians can benefit from the resources that belongs to them. That is the point we are making.
All right, let's move away from this SERAP issue. Now, there's been this whole conversation in some quarters saying that National Assembly is becoming a retirement home for our governors. What are your thoughts on that?
You see, because our constitution did not prevent them from aspiring. And that is why once the government norm says they can aspire, I don't think there's any problem in their aspiration. But the problem that we frowned against is when state government powers are used to benefit them. You know, some of them are senators, some of them are ministers, they are former governors. They are collecting emoluments all over in 3 places. That to us is not fair in a democracy.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mumuni Adetokunbo, for coming.
It's a pleasure.
And sharing your thoughts and leaving us more informed
Thank you very much.
Nigerian military ruler Ibrahim Babangida has criticized the recent setting up of the Southwest Regional Security Initiative, Amotekun, saying it is not sustainable. Babangida also dismissed the current government's claim of curbing the insurgency in the Northeast. Recall, Amotekun was set up by the Southwest governors to combat the security menace in the region. Babangida commended the initiative, but faulted its sustainability, even though many Nigerians have said the initiative is an appropriate solution to the country's security challenges. According to him, the governors may not be able to foot the needed expenses for this new security outfit in the long run. Still on national matters, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, and the National Youth Service Corps, NYC, are jointly looking into issues relating to Nigerian students in the diaspora who have completed their studies and willing to come back home for national service. The chairman CEO of NIDCOM stated this when she paid a courtesy visit to the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps in Abuja on Monday. The NIDCOM boss noted that Nigerian youths in the diaspora need to be properly and adequately sensitized on the importance of coming back home and contribute to the growth and development of their country. Dabiri Erewa further requested the establishment of a Diaspora NYSC desk office for stronger and better collaboration between the two agencies. That's it. The news will continue after this short break. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. And we go to Guinea and the African scenes, where a young protester was shot dead and many others arrested on Monday in the suburbs of the capital, Conakry, amid demonstrations against the president's bid to seek another term in office, according to witnesses. Guinean opposition party called for the protest to be held in residential neighborhoods to avoid a mass gathering in the capital center, after the government said such a march would be shut down. Young protesters burned tires in various suburbs as most people stayed off the streets of Conakry to avoid any violence. In the capital center, several hundred demonstrators burned tires and put up barricades around the headquarters of the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution. Sporadic gunfire was heard across the capital, and a high school student was shot dead by security forces, witnesses said. The demonstration followed the announcement last week by opposition groups that they will boycott legislative elections in February and will press to have them delayed if President Alpha Condé does not withdraw his bid for another term in office. Now, Boris Johnson on the foreign scene has told Trump to dial down his conflict with Iran and step back from outright war. The UK Prime Minister said on Tuesday that war in the region will not be in the UK's interest. In comments which appeared to mock the president's boastfulness, Johnson also insisted that the Iranian nuclear deal should be replaced with a new deal negotiated by the president. Johnson's comment came after the UK Defense Secretary said the country would not automatically back the US in future wars.
Obviously what we're saying to the Iranians, and I'm glad that they have accepted responsibility, and I'm glad that they've identified it as an appalling mistake, and it does appear that it was a mistake. It's very important that the bodies are repatriated and in a dignified way, and that the families are allowed to grieve and to have closure. Clearly, Iran, as President Rouhani has said, made a terrible mistake. It's good that they've apologized. The most important thing now is that tensions in the region calm down. And I was actually in Amman just at the weekend talking to people in the region, and they don't want a military conflict between the West and Iran. I don't want
sanctions the next step.
I don't want a military. And let me be very clear. I don't want a military conflict between us, between the United States and Iran. Let's dial this thing down. And, you know, Iran, when you look at it, it's an amazing country. It's 80 million people. It's got a young population. They're literate. They should be orientated towards free markets, towards our way of doing things. And yet they're the captives, they're the prisoners of this approach, this government that they have. Well, we're not easily going to change the government, but we need to engage with the people of Iran.
That's it on the foreign scenes. Up next is the business news. And in business, the President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday signed the 2020 Finance Bill into law. The special advisor to President of Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, confirmed this development in a statement in Abuja. According to him, the presidential aid, this is sequel to its passage by the National Assembly and subsequent forwarding by the legislature to the President for assent. It will be recalled that the President, while presenting the 2020 Appropriation Bill to the National Assembly, had also presented the Finance Bill. Earlier, Plus TV Africa spoke with tax consultant Taiwo Yedele on this development.
Yes, so Mr. President, when he was presenting the budget in 2019, accompanied the budget with the Finance Bill, and it's the first time in 20 years since 1999 that we have such a development. And some of the objectives include fiscal equity, so people pay according to their ability and that people are treated equally under similar circumstances. You have promoting MSMEs. You also have reforming Nigerian tax laws to be in line with global standards. You also have provisions there to provide incentive for infrastructure development, as well as, of course, raising revenue for government. So these are some of the strategic objectives. Unfortunately, the bill wasn't sent to the President along with the budget. So the budget was signed first, and then the bill was presented to Mr. President. Because the original intention was for the bill to take effect from 1st of January. So now that it has been signed, Nigerians need to be aware that it does not mean that it's effective because we don't know the provisions of the law. You cannot implement a law based on speculations. So yes, we had information about the content of the bill, but we do not have information about the content of the acts. So what the law requires is this has to be gazetted, which means you have to make it public officially. Until such a time, the laws that we know, including the tax rates existing, such as VAT at 5%, would continue.
All right, so at what point should we expect them saying, oh, this has now started being implemented? Because as it is now, it's not been implemented, it's just been signed. Yeah, so it will take effect, so there are two possibilities. One is, of course, whatever it is, we have to wait to see the official documents through gazetting. Now, once it's been gazetted, there are two possibilities. One is there could be a date on the acts, and that date will say this law shall commence as of, so that becomes the effective date. And that date could be in the near future. It could be February, it could be March, it could be later on, to allow for both the tax authorities and the taxpayers and the business community to prepare and be ready for that. Second possibility is that the bill, now an act, may be gazetted without an effective date. If that is the case, there's an interpretation act that says the law takes effect the day it was signed into law. Then that means it will take effect from yesterday. We're hoping that will not be the case because, for example, many vendors and merchants need to adjust their system to reflect the new VAT rate. You can't go back and charge VAT yesterday if you didn't charge it, and the person has bought the item and they've gone home and consumed it. So we're hoping that all this will be taken into consideration for effective implementation. Moving forward. Now, one thing that I know is going to impact on Nigerians directly is the VAT increase from 5% to 7.5%. What's your take on that? Yeah, so I think it's a necessary compromise. So some people are winners, even under the VAT law, because the list of exempt items have been expanded to cover basic food items, the things that people would normally consume if they are not flamboyant and extravagant, including education, Medicare, all those are exempted. More like so which means goods. Exactly, and items. So, and then for the rest of us who middle class, upper class, who like to consume a bit of luxury, or non-basic items, then they will pay a little bit more. So the overall impact, I think it's going to be positive because you're only asking people who have the ability to pay more to pay a little bit more, not the poor people. Hopefully use that extra cash to be able to pay minimum wage, provide social services, and build infrastructure that will benefit everyone. Now, when you started, you did mention that one of the priorities of this financial act now is for the ease of doing business, ensuring that the business environment is more friendly. Would you suggest that this would further, make this a reality for us?
Yeah, indeed, particularly for small businesses. So you don't have to register for VAT. Your company income tax rate is down to 0%. You can now use email to communicate with tax authorities. So some of those reforms, generally...
The tax burden removal for people that earn, below 25 million?
Yeah, so it's for businesses. Companies that have annual turnover of 25 million or less in a calendar year will not pay company income tax anymore. Stamp duty that we pay on using POS, buying fuel at the filling station, the threshold is going to go up now to 10,000, so which means majority of Nigerians won't have to pay. So overall, this, I think, would improve the business environment, but also not just the business environment, the livelihood of individuals, even if they are not doing anything.
That's it on business at this and still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. We will be back in a moment.
We're fresh into the new year, and The Advocate is marking its 1-year anniversary with a special edition.
I didn't know condoms were free. That's the thing. I didn't. Condoms are free.
When you were talking about if a case of condom being free or not, I was just saying I have to phone a friend because I'm not really in that department.
We have a lot of capacity. We're change makers. There's nothing we cannot turn around.
I've had friends that said, you know what? When I got married, I didn't think that what I went through with my parents, I didn't think those things were going to repeat itself. And then I entered my own marriage and I saw myself exhibiting something. I'm like, no, I need to take a break.
We cannot build a nation without the strength of the youth and the wisdom of the elders.
Nah. We don't just have strength, we have wisdom. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wisdom is Nigeria.
No, chill. It's all this.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
In entertainment, model Gigi Hadid was among 120 potential jurors called on Monday for the Harvey Weinstein rape trial inside the Manhattan courtroom for jury selection. Hadid, sitting in the jury box, said she had met the film producer. When asked by Judge James Burke if she could be fair and impartial, Hadid was among 35 potential jurors who were asked to fill out a jury questionnaire and return to court on Thursday. Weinstein is on trial for allegedly raping a woman in 2013 and sexually assaulting another woman in 2006. He has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 1 count of a criminal sexual act. That's it on entertainment. The very best in sports comes up right after this break. And in sports, Slovenian world number 180, Dalila Jakupovic, has retired from a qualifying match as a result of bad weather conditions in Australia. The Slovenian had to be helped off the court after she retired at 6-5, 5-6 against Swiss Stefanie Vogele in the first round in Melbourne. Qualifying was delayed by an hour on Tuesday and practice was temporarily suspended because of the air quality. Organizers say the conditions are expected to improve and would be monitored constantly. And that's it on sports and also a news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Please do join us again. Have yourselves a great day.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Mona Lisa is all about me. It's all about you. It's all about our stories. The stories that never get told, but ought to.
Whereby water transportation does not make financial sense, it makes economic sense.
I was there for 2.5 hours on the floor. Nobody attended to me.
If we don't take care of the poor will take care of us.
It's about getting at the root of things and hearing from the horse's mouth.
We have 15 public hospitals to make them affordable.
In the whole of Africa, we are bigger. You know, Nigeria, we sleep, eat, dream, fashion.
Those with the financial backing don't see fashion as an investment, which makes no sense.
If they do it for free, they won't have money for the next case.
Mona Lisa is about real life and real lives, yours and mine. Make a date with Mona Lisa, and together, let's ensure that the important stories get told.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times, I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now. And that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright. I really like it.
I can still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
Sleeping early.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Events, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. But no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no?
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we discuss the biggest entertainment stories. My name is Elsie Godwin, and I've got my interesting co-anchors with me, Ewa Oluwa Ritu and Ife Oluwa Oshunkeye. Ife, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Are you better than yesterday?
Sure? Yeah, the police is actually your friend.
If I say the truth,
say your truth.
Don't be covering for some people.
No, I'm not covering for them because at the end of the day, when I hung out with them yesterday,
you hung out with them?
Yeah, the police. That's why I said the police is actually your friend. Yeah, if you know how to talk to them.
Did they drink?
So my hanging out has to involve drinks.
I'm asking now. Like,
which policeman doesn't drink? Can't you
were
think
they
they have
off
access?
duty? Were they done for the day?
And we call them cast down police officers.
Well,
it was in the station actually though.
So you were hanging out at the police station. Interesting.
Yeah.
Your rank is getting high.
Don't mess with me. That's what it means. And I have police friends.
Okay.
I have soldier friends.
You have soldier friends?
Yes.
They are supposed to be at war now. They will soon go to the Third World War.
Oh wow. Okay, let's go right into the main story. Higher Ground Productions, a company owned by Barack and Michelle Obama, has scored its first Oscar nomination. The former American president said in an Instagram post that he's glad to see American Factories nod for Best Documentary. He went on to say, and I quote, "I like this film for its nuanced, honest portrayal of the way a changing global economy plays out in real lives. It offers a window into people as they actually are, and it's the kind of story we don't see often enough. This is exactly what Mitchell and I hope to achieve through Higher Ground," end of quotes. The film will compete in its category against The Cave, The Edge of Democracy, For Sama, and Honeyland. Okay, I've not seen any of this movie.
I've seen Sama and I've seen Honeyland, and I think they're great movies. But I haven't seen the Barack Obama, the American Factory. I haven't seen that, so I'd like to see how this plays out because those are two other great documentaries, and I haven't seen this one. So I hope it won't be a case of favoritism at the end of the day, where you say, okay, this is the ex-president and the ex-first lady of the United States of America, so let's just give the award to them. So I just
hope not, and I don't think so.
And
I'm looking forward to seeing all of them this weekend.
Yeah, I hope this will be on merits. And big shout out to when we're talking about the Oscars, we can't take it away from Phoenix Draken, right? The Joker guy who has bagged 11 Oscar nominations, and I think that's very, very, very amazing. Even though I don't think that movie is that deep, but it's character.
That movie is deep. Maybe you're not deep enough to understand the movie.
Well, maybe I'm not deep in this type of context. Maybe I'm deeper in other contexts.
What context?
Musical
I feel like your context is becoming something else. Which context are you deep in?
I don't know, but I just don't think if I watch a movie for 5 days, I'm not saying the movie is not interesting. I'm not saying it doesn't have a message, but I'm just saying it's overrated. But in terms of performance,
it's an artistic excellence.
Yeah, in terms of performance.